So good evening and a very warm welcome to our third lecture in the STIP lecture series. As you are aware, RIS, Habitat Center, TERI, and other institutions including Center for Science and Environment, Indo-French Center, Vigyan Prasar, and this time, thanks to Professor Ramaswamy, we have Springer Nature as our partner in this lecture series. Idea, friends and colleagues, is to bring forward science, technology, innovation related issues to larger public domain and discussion, where we see how science, technology, innovation are connected with our lives and how regulatory structures with them, how innovation policies are driving in some of the decisions and the policy choices that we are making. We had the principal scientific advisor with us in the first lecture itself when we explored the world of sustainable development goals. Subsequently, we had a lecture on what the issues are in terms of urban mobility, how we look at the very sort of choices that we are making in terms of urban mobility. And the last lecture by our ambassador Balakrishnan in terms of science diplomacy. What are the ways we have accomplished various networks and advantages of those networks, where we have missed opportunities like Human Genome Project that he listed in his a series of things where India could have done better in terms of connectivity. So several issues he threw up. It was an excellent lecture. What we are planning to do is to bring out all these three lectures in form of independent monographs, and we would be circulating it very soon. Thanks to Habitat Center, we are getting this space and the cost is extremely low for partnering institutions. We have tried to leverage the presence of institutions based in Habitat Center, focusing on science, technology, innovation related issues. So we got everyone together, and fortunately, excellent support we are getting from our partner institutions, from the faculties of these institutions, and we are trying to reach out to others, expand the base. So INSA also we have tried to rope in this time to have a larger reach on policy issues that are confronting science, technology, innovation. This time we troubled Dr. Jairam Ramesh, who has been one of the key ministers in the previous government who dealt with science technology regulator in his capacity as environment minister when the GM related issues came in. But even otherwise, he has written extensively on what is called as scientific temper. His writings on Pandit Nehru's contribution to our understanding on this theme has been there, and I think we are quite lucky this evening to have him in the chair to steer this extremely important lecture by Professor Frank Shu through. Just while having tea, we were discussing with Professor Frank, and he was saying that people are prescribing n number of expenditure for coping up with climate change. And his idea is that you can actually earn money if you are doing it the right way. So I'm eagerly looking forward, Frank, for your lecture today. Our partner of this lecture, the director of the Habitat Center, Mr. Rakesh Kakkar, is also here. I would like to invite him to join me for the welcome remarks. And then we would request Mr. Shirish Gaur, Senior Fellow and Director of TERI, for his remarks. So first, Mr. Kakkar.
Thank you, Sachin. We do a number of programs in the Habitat Center, and for many years, a lot of us felt that a significant lacuna in our programming was the almost total absence of science. So a few months back, when Sachin approached me for starting a science series, I very enthusiastically said yes. And I'm very glad that in a short period of 3 months, we have had already 4 events, And Dr. Mukesh Kumar is here from the Indo-French Center, and he has already fixed the next event, which is on January 19th? 15th, sorry, January 15th. So I'm sure that with Sachin's dynamism and the active cooperation of the Indo-French Center, Terry, Shirish is here from representing Terry, and we also have the Center for Science and Environment. So 4 institutions of the center getting together and putting together lectures on science. This is a really remarkable and wonderful achievement. Just a word of thanks to Professor Frank Shu for taking time out and coming and sharing his thoughts with us. And last but not least, thank you, Shri Jairam Ramesh ji. It's always a pleasure listening to you, and we are all eagerly waiting for your thoughts on the issue which is there before us. Thank you, Sachin, and all your colleagues in RIS once again.
So I now request Mr. Shirish Gaur, Senior Fellow and Director, Terry.
Good evening, everybody. Dignitaries on dais and friends. It's my honor to share dais with Professor Jairam Ramesh and Frank Shu, and I'm really grateful to IHC for this opportunity. Molten salt technologies are there for quite some time, and in fact my early career I had opportunity to work on similar technologies for solar thermal power generation applications, but that time probably it was too early, and the technologies seems to be too expensive compared to others. But today I think there are not only those kind of applications, but there are numerous applications which are emerging for thermal storage technologies. And as Terry, which is committed to create innovative solutions for sustainable development, we have established a Center of Excellence on Thermal Storage, which is funded by Ministry of Human Resource Development, MHRD, Government of India. And we have established it jointly with Terry University, which is now Terry School of Advanced Studies in our Vasant Kunj campus. And we are looking at interesting applications for storing both the thermal heat and cool for air conditioning system to manage the grid. And then we are also looking at solar thermal applications like drying and cooling, etc., using the thermal storages. So I'm really excited and looking forward to Professor Frank Shu's lecture on this. And being an astrophysicist, probably he can bring in a global, not only global but universal aspect to it. Thank you very much, and I look forward to your lecture, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Dr. Shirish. Now I request Dr. Jairam Ramesh for his remarks. Yeah.
Thank you. My friends on the dais, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it's impossible to describe Dr. Frank Shu. I mean, he's just awesome because he has won every conceivable prize that exists in the field of astronomy and astrophysics, barring the Nobel Prize. He has worked at every top institution, Harvard, MIT, Berkeley, San Diego, name it. And he also has been the president of a university in Taiwan, of which his father was also the president. It must be unusual that father and son combination, president of the same university, separated by a few years. And when I was reading about him, it's just absolutely awesome. And I think we have an evening today with one of the foremost astronomers, astrophysicists of our generation. And he's going to be talking to us on a blue sky topic, which is how do you keep putting carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and yet have your cake and eat it too. I mean, this would be a delight to most people in India who hate mitigation. And Dr. Shu will really look ahead. In the last few years, there's been a lot of debate. I myself have been part of a group that's looking at geoengineering solutions. And basically, scientists who take the view that mitigation need not be the priority for the world community because there are technological solutions available which would actually extract the global warming gases out of the atmosphere. When I was Minister for Environment a couple of years ago, I had occasion to start a debate between two astronomers. And I want to tell Dr. Shu this, and I just discovered that paper which we had prepared. Dr. U.R. Rao, who was then, very distinguished astrophysicist, former chairman of the Space Commission, and Professor Ramanathan, who you may be knowing was part of the University of California at San Diego. And I'd wanted to get scientific thinking going on climate change. And there was a fascinating debate that took place, which I will give a copy of to Professor Shu. And Dr. Rao produced a paper called Contribution of Changing Galactic Cosmic Ray Flux to Global Warming. And Dr. Ramanathan responded by Galactic Cosmic Rays, Low Clouds, and Global Warming, a commentary. The idea was to influence the IPCC. The idea was to influence the global scientific discourse in so far as new thinking is concerned. And I'll have occasion to say something after your